Well, welcome to the Footy Prime post-match show. Sharman, Forrest, and Dunlop here with you. 6-3 City in the end. Not quite sure what happened in that match. Craig, how much better will United feel at full time compared to halftime?
Not much. Not much. A little bit. Kind of shows, that where we are, or where we're sitting in the league, and the amount of games that Man City and all Premier Leagues have to play in the next 42 days. So they had another 12 games or 13 or something like that. So they took their foot off the pedal. That was evident really early on in the second half, and just tried to see it out. So good professional job done by Man City, I would say.
Yeah, the scoreline flatters United a little bit, right? But you see that in that situation when a team runs away with it and are as unstoppable as they are. I mean, God, it's funny, right? Like, are we even surprised that Haaland scored a hat-trick again? Sharman said it at halftime, like, oh, go and bet on it. And it's like, yeah, sure bet. And I bet you so sure most of us didn't even attempt to do it.
No.
It's one of those things like, if you're in the account, definitely. But it's like, it's just going to happen. I'll probably miss it.
Yeah, it was probably 8-1 the other way. 1-8.
Yeah,
they're not offering it. They're not stupid.
No,
before the match, North Star was offering over 3.5 goals, Haaland 2 or more at plus 390.
I'm not pretty sure the next odds. Like what you're trying to do is pick something very precise. That's not even flattering odds to do that. It means they.
But I guarantee you, though, be next week when they're hosting Southampton, you won't be getting plus 390 for that.
No. You also aren't going to get it. As I said at halftime, right? They don't play this way against the teams that you expect them to beat. They'll win 2-0. They'll win 2-0. And
I know it's Southampton. They're like famous for the old 9-0ers, right?
That's the old Southampton. That's the old Ralph Hasenhüttl Southampton.
Yeah, so he's done it twice.
He's actually that's right. He has, isn't he? Yeah, and now they're the lose 2-0 Southampton, right?
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you're Southampton, you're not happy though. You're crapping yourself right now.
Well, actually,
PTSD there.
Yeah, but at the same time, everybody is expecting it. So anything better than that's a bit of gravy, right? One person will be really pissed off in the Man City dressing room will be the goalkeeper, because he's the one that really got exposed because they took the foot off the pedal and they weren't willing to defend hard enough, and he ends up conceding 3 and making his day quite miserable. So. That happens sometimes, and that is something that I remember in the past. Like if you're cruising 3 or 4-0 and then your defense gets a little bit sloppy, not willing to quite get as physical as they were at 0-0, and let a couple soft ones in. Yeah.
So take me into the. Go ahead, B.
The goalkeeper gripes. I love that Craig has come in with that. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, take us into the goalkeeper's mind here for a second. Would you rather have a 0-0 or that today when you win the game, but you do concede 3 goals?
Well, the point is, it's the 3 goals that you concede. Those are the important ones, like and how you concede them. He wasn't at fault for any of them, so it's not. That's from his standpoint, they got the win, so that's fine. But yeah, I mean, professionally speaking, you learn very quickly that you could be in a side that wins 3-2, 5 games in a row, but you keep throwing 1 or 2 in a game, you're not going to be part of that team very long. But if you lose 2-1 5 consecutive times and you stand on your head, you're going to get another contract. It's very weird, how the brain works, but that's basically how it works professionally. So you have to look after your own self or your own job first, and hopefully the rest looks after itself, because you're not going to be part of it if you don't.
There was that great scene in All or Nothing last year with Arsenal, and they won the game, but Ramsdale conceded a late goal to blow his clean sheet, and he was so pissed. He was the one guy in the room with his head in his hands. They won the game, but he's like, no.
That'll be Ederson. He'll be screaming in Portuguese.
Although he's basically a forward, right? He's not really a goalkeeper.
He's a forward with gloves.
Yeah.
It's a huge loophole. Speaking of forwards, that Norwegian guy's pretty good. This stat just came up. I paused this as Craig was complaining about how goalkeepers don't get enough attention.
Thanks.
3 goals, obviously, 2 assists. How many shots on target did Haaland have?
Ooh,
only 3.
Just 3,
yeah. The side netting
He'd
one.
only attempted. You think someone who scored 3 has probably attempted 12 shots? He attempted 6. He had 12 touches in the box, only 12, and he ran 9.1 kilometers today.
What's his XG?
I want to know how many strides he took. Probably
420. So, yeah.
I put a tweet out there saying, like, is this guy reinventing the position, or is he just like an old school number 9, but really, really, really good?
Well, the reason why, I predicted at the top of the season that he's going to score or fill the net was because you got this unbelievable team around him and the creators, these artists in midfield that are absolutely unbelievable. And he gets on the end of them. That ball by Kevin De Bruyne was for his second, I believe, was just unbelievable. Those two could end up being you're looking at Son and Kane as a partnership that does really well, but De Bruyne, and we're going to see with Haaland as well, who also picked up a couple assists today as well. Haaland.
Yeah, Foden not bad either, AB. Pretty good performance. Hat-trick for him.
Yeah, Southgate must be looking at that saying, oh, Grealish and Foden can play together. But yeah, no, good for Phil Foden. He needed the confidence boost too, I think. And
Grealish looked good too.
Some flat performances. But the thing with Haaland, right, it's like I think we all knew before he left Dortmund that he was a world-class finisher. Yeah. But to Craig's point, you've got world-class servicemen, not just in the middle of the park in one person in De Bruyne or a couple of people, which he may have had at Dortmund before. The entire field, including the fucking goalkeeper, like our world-class servicemen. Right, yeah. to be able to get him the ball. That's what makes him so bloody lethal, and why he's going to be smashing records like crazy.
Yeah, he's good at everything. It seems, running off the ball, he holds the ball up really well. He's good from diagonals, headers from the right, left, both feet, and that last finish that was basically center of the net. He struck that well. The net nearly comes off the ground. It's in there. He's banged that in.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just side-footed, but oh man, it's like with some vicious venom.
132 goals in his last 127 league games for his club.
Yeah, here's another one. He's scored 14 Premier League goals now, right? Jimmy said he wouldn't score 15 on the season. 14 Premier League goals, which is more than 14 other Premier League clubs right now at this point in the table.
Yeah, isn't he fastest to 25 Champions League goals as well?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I think, and he beat Ronaldo to that. This is the exciting thing too, right? We see this change in the guard. Everyone talks about it. And it was Jim Beglin, Craig, who said it in the broadcast as well. You are seeing with Ronaldo and Messi older, it's Mbappe and Haaland, like without a doubt. And he was saying, like, actually, it's Haaland kind of miles above, whereas at least Messi and Ronaldo were close. Mm-hmm. You're seeing that position. What Ronaldo kind of made it as he evolved himself into being this super lethal number 9. I think Haaland is now the next generation version of that. You take the lethal Ronaldo number 9 and make him bigger and stronger and faster and younger, and this is Haaland.
It's a good point. Number 9, right? Because when Ronaldo broke through, he was a winger, right? And he was dynamic, beating guys out wide with his pace. Different kind of player entirely. Whereas Haaland's always going to be a number 9. This is what he is. He's always going to be this prolific. And 14 goals, you get a guy that can guarantee you 14 goals a year, you're spending 50 million on him, right? And this he's done it in 8 games.
And they only spent 55 million on him, which is also crazy.
It might be the best bit of business in the history of football.
Yeah, it might be. When he walks out on the field, he looks a lot like, the old 80s teams everybody had a striker that was 6'5", 6'6", right?
He's Dicchio.
He's Danny Dicchio, but he plays like he's 5'5".
Well, Dicchio had hair the same length.
That's true. He did, didn't he? Yeah.
I don't think I saw him with the same slick pullback, but
actually, no. We should get Deech on the show. It'd be really interesting to talk to him about Haaland and about that position, because he is like that big imposing number 9 that Deech was. And I'm not making fun of Deech here. I'm not, honestly. Christ, this guy's better than maybe any number 9 I've seen so far.
Exactly.
Lewandowski was pretty good, mind you. But let's see Haaland do it over the course of 5, 6, 7 years. But I think he will.
He's got 1,000 goals.
Do you think this puts pressure on Mbappe to actually go to a legitimate top league? Because with respect to France, it isn't.
What a question.
I don't know. He's getting paid really well. They don't have to physically or the physical demands that the Premier League do in that league. Champions League runs every year.
Yeah,
he's in a pretty good spot.
And he's already got LeBron status where he's picking coaches and players. Like,
yeah,
he's in a very comfortable situation to be very difficult to leave. And I do think that PSG will win the Champions League in the next 3 seasons. If they don't do that, and let's say it's 3 in a row for City, then maybe that conversation has a bit more merit.
Mm-hmm. It's tough when you get the Champions League because it's not, you don't have 38 games like Man City to have a couple of hiccups. You get into the knockout stage of the Champions League. You need a little bit of luck as well as playing well.
Can we read some comments here? Oh, sorry, yeah. Craig. I didn't mean
No, go ahead. Let's read some comments.
I think you put B on this team as a number 9, and even he gets 1 a game. This might actually be the year that City do something in the Champions League. That's Peter from Wainwright. I just love that. That's me being involved in the team. Where is Jimmy? Carl Olaf. He's a good dad. This is Sunday. It says there's a 50-50 chance that he's here or not here. And if he's not here, it's because he's being a good dad. Carl also wishes that Haaland was in the World Cup. I said this, and you guys are like, whatever. I don't think about players that aren't there. But yeah, I'm sad Haaland's not going to be at the World Cup.
Well, me too. Absolutely.
If I was him, I would make the old Ibra statement. It's not worth watching. I'm not there.
He's got a very different personality that Ibra, doesn't he? You saw the interview before the match today with Gary Neville. He's very grounded. Real normal.
Let me ask you this, guys. Let me ask you this. We talk about the best players that ever lived, and we usually link a World Cup to that. Now, if Haaland in 10 years' time has 500 goals, and we're putting him up in the top 3, 4, or 5 that ever played the game. I mean, I know we're jumping the gun here a little bit, but he's not going to win the World Cup with Norway. He might not make the World Cup with Norway.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few of those guys, right? Well, that's right, but he's playing for Argentina. He's got a shot.
George Best is revered, right? Still considered one of the handful of best players of all time, and the fact that he didn't play in the World Cup is often brought up as almost like, I won't say it elevates him, but it adds to the mystique and the myth of George Best.
Yeah.
Maybe
George Weah too, right? Another one that was World Player of the Year.
I was going to say, yeah, I think that just adds to the mystique of it, that the fact that he didn't. But also too, like that they played at a time when we still measured the best football in the world in the World Cup, where we all agree now that the best quality of football is in the Champions League.
Yes.
So if you are bagging 500 goals for a Champions League contending team and a Champions League winning team, I think that measurement is different now. And also too, like as global as the game is, you're going to get a superstar from another country that's unlikely to make the World Cup or contend in the Euros on a consistent basis.
Very true. Probably. Very true. I think the development in those countries has come a long way. Smaller countries, yeah.
I think we can agree also that at this point in current form, he walks into every single country in their starting 11 in the world. There's not a country out there that wouldn't play Erling Haaland as their number 9, is there?
Well, you might as well chalk him up for a goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're 1-0 down or up, depending on.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a goal a game. It's nuts.
Do you think Ronaldo's sitting there today looking across at Haaland and goes, that could have been me. That should have been me.
Hey, I tell you what, when I saw him in the stands today in that second half, he looked just dejected.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost like he was going to cry from what was unfolding. I think he's regretting that move every single day.
To an end. You know, his ability to play like he did a few years ago is not there anymore. And you know, that's got to be tough for anybody at a professional level to retire. But when you're like that good, and you see yourself sitting on the bench with 5 games in a row, things are changing.
And I think, like B, you kind of alluding to there, if you put him in that City 11, okay, he hasn't got 14 in 8 games, I don't think, but he's got a few.
Yeah, sure. he's got a few, but I also think too, like that it's also the envy. What you saw on his face today was the envy of that. He's never been with 11 world-class servicemen. ever.
No.
God,
That's a pretty good team
that
to Real
Juve,
Madrid, though.
that Juve
Pretty
team, they
decent.
barely had guys that could pass him the fucking ball at Juve, and he still was top scorer.
Mm-hmm. But don't have sympathy for the teams that Ronaldo played for. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he won it all with United, won it all with Real Madrid numerous times.
Yeah, and he won it all with Real Madrid, and even he would admit this. Like, the reason his numbers exploded as he evolved as a player, the huge factor of that is the team around him. But he never had a team like this around him. And if he had a team like this now, I think for as much as we say, oh, look, he doesn't fit into United's system, or like he can't contribute, he's better off being on the bench. It's because he's able to do what Haaland is doing still at this level. You say he wouldn't score 14, I agree with you, but I bet you'd score 10. I bet you.
I don't know about that many. I think it'd be effective. I mean, Pep, when that rumor was made about Ronaldo going to City, the argument was, well, listen, there's no way Pep would allow a player who's not prepared to work hard for his team into his 11, right? And I'm not saying Haaland doesn't work hard, he does, but he's very much more the mold of the traditional number 9. And Pep suddenly said, okay, I want that now. You don't need to be a false 9. So Ronaldo would fit into that spot, yes. But 10 goals in 8? I don't know. I think it's all obviously hypothetical. I think he'd score goals, but he's not at the level anymore.
So on brand from me. Man City 6, Man United 3. Ronaldo doesn't play, and yet I've turned this into a 5-minute conversation.
Yes,
about
seriously.
Well, he's hard not to talk about. I'll give you that.
Alan Scholes says next game Ronaldo should start because Rashford does not look good.
Didn't today, did he? But then again, didn't get any of the ball. No service to him. And the midfield got the ball and they gave it away. That was certainly in the first half. Martial, though, coming off the bench and scoring 2 goals. I mean, I can't see why he wouldn't start the next game.
Yeah,
it's hard to judge anything from that second half as far as the game goes. The first half was what that game was, and it was over at halftime. Second half was...
Did anyone bet on that game?
Like I said, if I'm goalkeeper for Man City, I'm pissed off.
I didn't bet on that game. I did think about it when you said you were going to take him at halftime, but then I had to build graphics, so I didn't.
I put $20 in this game.
Wow.
Me. 20. And it was
on what?
Just a City win, and a Haaland 2 or more goals.
Oh, you did take
2 or more goals. So that was your plus 330?
No. The plus 390 was over 3.5 goals in the match, and Haaland 2 or more. This was Haaland 2 or more and just a City win.
So what did you get? Plus
it was minus 106. So
minus?
Yeah, I know. Right?
Oh my God.
Right?
Minus 106 for City to win and Haaland to score 2 or more. So if it was just 2, though, you won. It was Haaland plus 1.5.
2 or more. Okay.
Yep. Wow. These are the numbers we're talking about now. The expectation.
But for me to bet $20 just shows you what I think about this guy. Right? That is unheard of me betting $20 on anything.
Yeah. $20
it is. You must have been sweating.
Oh, yeah.
Craig, I was shitting myself. I didn't sleep last night.
I know, because I've seen you on like 55-cent bets.
$20 to win $18. Well,
yep.
You're still up in comparison to Wonger. Wonger would have taken United at halftime. Hey, plus 3,000. He's like, guys, it's Manchester fucking United.
That's unbelievable, eh? Unbelievable, really.
It is. These numbers are just things that we didn't consider possible if your name wasn't Leo Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. And even them. What's the most goals Messi and Ronaldo scored in one season domestically? We have to look that up. It's north of 40.
Yeah.
In just the league. But I don't think they hit 50.
But it's close to 40. No, they've done 50 in the calendar year, but none of them have done 50 in a league. Yeah. No, that's insane. 50 in 36 games, 38 games, that would be insane. 50.
Yeah.
Does Haaland do it, Craig?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll I'm sure ask Wonger about how much he bet on United on the show tonight.
The odds are coming down.
Yeah.
If you're a bookie, you're not giving much away there at 50 goals in the league, I tell you. You'd be a little bit nervous.
Yep, absolutely. Maybe we'll try and dig up those odds for the show tonight and find out. Okay, fellas.
They might not be available, but you could.
But they are somewhere. You'll find them somewhere for sure.
You tell them to. You know what the bookies are like in England? You literally walk in the shops there and place like say, okay, I've got a bet for you. Will you take it?
You can pitch it to them. It's like
you can pitch a bet to them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like,
you could bet, I want Prince William to score a goal in the FA Cup final. You can get those odds.
Yeah, so they'll give you odds. They'll give you a slip and walk away, and like Rory McIlroy's dad went into the bookies and said, "What we give me for my son, who was 10 at the time or something, and what we give him before if he wins a major before he's 22 years of age or something." So
and Will Hill gave him odds.
They gave him odds, yeah. So he did win that. I don't know what it worked out to, but it was pretty good.
I can't even think what the North American equivalent would be if you walked into a grocery store with the full cart and then told them how much it was worth. See my cart here? I'm gonna pay $180 for it. Maybe it was more, maybe it was less.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a wonder that the country's a big mess right now.
With Loblaws or something like that going on, my bill's going to be odd. The pennies are going to be odd. Taking black and white or black and red.
We'll be just fine in this province with everyone gambling all of a sudden out of nowhere. We'll be fine.
Hey, I'm doing all right so far. Loving it.
This guy and his addiction.
All right, boys, let's wrap it. We'll return this evening. So probably when you wake up tomorrow morning, we have a lovely new, fresh Footy Prime podcast waiting for you in your basket. And we'll talk about Erling Haaland a lot, I'm sure. Plus the entire weekend of action across England, across Europe. I'm sure we'll touch on some MLS too. I don't know, B's hosting it. I won't put any pressure on you, B, but usually you touch on MLS as well. So
yeah, we get the MLS. Is this your way of saying that usually by 11:17 you've sent the rundown out when you're hosting? Is that your way of your flex?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, you send it well in advance.
We'll get usually... the Whitecaps are the only MLS story really worth talking about. Not to take away from the
they won
Montreal,
2-0,
of course, but Montreal's story is still to be told. Vancouver have at least made it interesting ahead of decision day. So yeah, we'll get some CPL and MLS in there for sure.
All right, brilliant. All right, everyone. Well, we'll see you this evening. That's Footy Prime. Follow us on all our socials. Hope you enjoy this. We shall return. See you later.